20 years, I mean, yeah, it's flown by, that's for sure. My name's Jonathan Morton and I'm Artistic Director at Scottish Ensemble. I first became involved in Scottish Ensemble, I think it was in my last year as a student, and loved it straight away. There's something about the size of a group like Scottish Ensemble, which is, you know, it's bigger than a string quartet, but it has that kind of lightness, and it's a nimble group. So for me, it felt like a very natural step to kind of go from the string quartet into a kind of string orchestra. The playing side came relatively quickly. The programming aspect of it, that was a much kind of slower learning process, and you know, that's been really exciting for me to have that opportunity to really learn that skill and refine it over 20 years. Looking back, there are so many wonderful projects that come to mind. 20th Century Perspectives with Toby Patterson, a Glasgow-based artist, completely opened up like a whole new universe of possibilities. And it's the first time that we collaborated with a different art form. Toby created these incredible, huge sort of canvases that were set up in this disused concrete building in Glasgow. And I curated a program of 20th century sort of iconic string music that went with the architecture and the art. And it felt like a kind of rock gig. I mean, the energy was just extraordinary. And it felt a little bit like the Big Bang for the ensemble. You know, everybody went, wow, what's just happened? And then that just started this whole thing rolling. And the next project was collaborating with Andersson and his dance company. The idea of choreographing musicians on stage with dancers, you know, it had been tried, but these are kind of tricky things to do well, you know. And so we threw ourselves into it, and it was another little big bang. You know, at the end of the performance, we just went, oh my God. Then you think, okay, it works, but you just don't know, do you? Until you're in front of a few hundred people. Anno was a really important project for us, again, because it was high risk. And I approached Anna with this idea, mixing some of Vivaldi's music with her own, and she just like looked at me like, really? Very grateful to her for going with my slightly wacky idea. And again, it just worked. But it wasn't easy. The rehearsals were tricky. Like the first time we had to sort of put those things together, I'm like, oh my God, you know, what have I done? But then here we are, we're still doing it, you know, 10 years later, and that to me means a lot, and I'm very proud of it. As well as all these kind of collaborative projects with different artists and different art forms, I'm very proud of these concerts by Candlelight that have been developing slowly over 15 years. I mean, the concepts of concerts and Candlelight is not a new one at all. What's interesting is that the programming has evolved over time to the point where actually most of the music is written in the last, I'd say, 50 years. You know, I'm thrilled that we've been able to bring audiences onto these journeys and get hundreds of people to sit and listen to incredibly unfamiliar music with a focus and attention that is just extraordinary. I don't think we set out to kind of be bold and innovative 20 years ago. We didn't sit around a table and go, right, this is what we're going to do. You know, I think we've all realized by doing these projects, which are where we have to basically take more risks and be much more vulnerable, you're then opening a sort of connection with the audience, that kind of energy between the audience and the musicians on stage. And that, for me, has become more and more important over the years. And I think, you know, coming off stage and everyone's on a high, and then you go and meet the audience and they're on a high, a similar high. That for me is just like, it's heaven. You know, it's literally, it's so special. And it's not a given. We've built a lot of confidence as a group, and we're just going to keep going, and we're going to, you know, we're going to do it better, we're going to go deeper, we're going to have more fun, and we're going to connect more with our audiences. And what else can I wish for?